New Guinea man is part of this cycle of life, forming a passive partnership.
You see, the great prophecies of the Bible bring present-day events into focus.
Operated by missionary pilots, this plane carries personnel and supplies.
Hello, I'm Alan Lindsay, host of South Pacific Classics. In this series we dust off memorable films from yesteryear. From the valuable treasures of Cry of New Guinea to the lighter moments of Let the Sun Shine, we have searched the vaults of the Adventist Heritage Centre to take you on a walk down memory lane. Please join us as we look back at the talented, God-inspired work of our pioneers on South Pacific Classics.
Sailing the South Pacific in tiny ships, early navigators explored a vast realm of islands, reefs, and coral atolls. In 1567, Mendana the Spaniard discovered a chain of beautiful but primitive islands east of New Guinea. He called them the Isles of Solomon. Mendana hoped to find rivers of gold. Instead, he found tribes of fierce Melanesian headhunters and cannibals. Early attempts at colonization failed, and the place became known as the Land of the Assassins. Civilization made wide detours around it for another 200 years. In 1899, Mendana's fabled isles became a British protectorate. Onyar, the present capital, is on Guadalcanal, site of the well-known American base of World War II. The new generation knows little of those explosive days in the Pacific, for battle scars are fast disappearing. Now, from Mendana's anchorage, small ships sail out on peaceful errands to the scattered islands of the Solomons Group, places that see few visitors from the outside world. Government patrol vessels, copra ships, and missionary launches are the only contacts with civilization for most of these remote islands. Malaita, in the eastern Solomons, has more than 200 miles of coastline and a native population of 50,000. Hundreds of thatched villages dot the coast or nestle shyly in the dense jungle. Here is the last stronghold of savagery and devil worship in this part of the South Pacific. These islanders have a primitive culture of their own, fiercely resisting the approaches of civilization. Their ancient customs and superstitions are deeply ingrained and greatly hamper the efforts of missionaries and government workers. The origins of Malaitan ritual dances are lost in the mists of legend and the forgotten past. Ceremonials are closely allied with spirit worship, wooden drums and bamboo flutes being used to communicate with imaginary ancestral gods. Because of long-standing enmity with the jungle tribes, many of the coastal people have moved out into the lagoon, laboriously building artificial islands by collecting coral rocks and piling them up in the sea. If your island becomes overcrowded, there's a simple solution. Simply gather more rocks from the coast and enlarge your holdings. Are the neighbors obnoxious? Move out. Build your own island. On most of these man-made islands, the dwellings are packed together, made from brush brought from the mainland. The huts are simple affairs and do no more than make life endurable. Comfort and hygiene, taken for granted by civilized peoples, are strangers here. Life for the old people borders on misery, and death often comes as a welcome release. But for the young fry, life has its compensations. They make their own fun within the confines of the village. The lagoon offers pleasant relief from the tropical heat. Children anywhere would envy the life of these saltwater amphibians. While in many villages adults idle away their time, the people of Longa Longa have established a unique industry. They manufacture shell money, a currency used for the purchase of wives. First, seashells are crudely chipped into small discs with a stone. The rough discs are then ground flat between two pieces of sandstone lubricated with water. Primitive quartz-tipped drills are now used to bore holes in the flat discs conveniently held in a half coconut shell. The next step is to thread the shell discs on long strings and polish the edges with a grooved abrasive stone. Fine sand aids the grinding process. This stage of the work is very laborious, and edge polishing can go on for days. When the islanders are satisfied with the finish of each piece, the coinage is graded for quality and color and rethreaded into ornamental strings of set value. A bandolier such as this is valued at $10. The custom of the bride price is still strong on Malaita, and as many as 30 of these money strings are required to purchase a good-looking wife. Along the coral coast, time drifts slowly by. Some men sleep, others cast nets in the warm lagoon. If it were not for the sea and its bounties, the islanders would have a monotonous diet, for their low coral reefs grow little more than coconuts. In deeper waters, they use rod and line, working from canoes. The coastal people are experts at making dugout canoes, their only means of travel, and so essential for offshore fishing. But these sea dwellers would tire of fish alone. For this reason, they have made a convenient truce with their longtime enemies of the interior. Once or twice a week, they paddle to the main island and go upriver to rendezvous with the bush tribes. Using the ages-old barter system, they exchange the product of the lagoon for fresh vegetables grown by the inland people in fertile jungle clearings. The coastals generally make the approach by offering their fish for a handful of vegetables that catches their eye. There is little or no haggling. If the offer is acceptable, a word or a nod seals the bargain. To see the mainland women toiling in their gardens with pandanus leaf shades to deflect the burning heat of the sun, one must conclude that the fishermen get the easy end of the bargain at the food exchange. The jungle villages are not noted for cleanliness. Pigs, sickly dogs, and chickens wander unchecked in and around the houses. This is life in its most primitive form, and for untold generations, these people have known nothing else. Their personal possessions are few. Cloth from a trading post is a luxury, but it is rarely washed. This lack of sanitation contributes to many tropical diseases. Skin eruptions, such as scabies and ulcers, are common, especially among little children. Infant mortality is extremely high, with dysentery, and malaria among the chief killers. Leprosy, the scourge of many underdeveloped countries, is found throughout Malaita. Many sufferers hide in the jungle in the forlorn hope that some form of witchcraft will cure them, coming to a clinic only when the disease is far advanced. Into this wilderness of distress moves the Christian missionary. On foot, where roads have never dared to go, he pounds the jungle trail. His goal, the tiny villages tucked away in the mountain hinterlands. His cargo, his life. Such safaris have not always received a friendly welcome. In the past, missionaries and their aides have been brutally murdered. But now comparative law and order has been established. Ellis Gibbons, one of a long line of Seventh-day Adventist missionaries working in the Solomons area, finds that special campaigns have already lowered the incidence of such diseases as yaws. Many health problems remain. Malaria, for instance, accounts for 20% of all deaths. Tuberculosis is another killer. Isolation, difficult terrain, and the debilitating climate make the missionary's task an unenviable one. But there are rewards as he slowly wins the friendship of the people and is able to teach them how to improve their ways of living. Mothers are taught simple child care and urged to report sickness as soon as possible. But cruel customs still persist. This innocent baby was doomed to be buried alive, for her mother died during childbirth. Mission personnel rescued the baby, and now she will have opportunity to know a life that her poor mother never knew. Whether back among the bush tribes or along the palm-fringed coast, the people must be taught that disease is caused by wrong living habits, by germs breeding in filth and unsanitary conditions. As they learn that angry devil gods do not bring disease and other calamities, the power of the witch doctor will wane. The opening of bush clinics and the training of native nurses and dressers are important phases in the Adventist medical missionary program. Solomon Islanders are being taught to help themselves in their outreach for better health, for better living conditions. And now, a bold new step. At Uru, on the primitive east coast of Malaita, the jungle is being thrust back. Supplies are being hauled. A large cement block building is taking shape. Another Seventh-day Adventist hospital, this time for the fierce tribesmen of Malaita. Under expert direction, eager natives are digging foundations, making cement bricks that will not succumb to attacks from termites. Cement and other materials must be imported at great cost. Modern medical equipment must travel literally thousands of miles. And so, shoulder to shoulder with the builders on Malaita, stand the people of lands that long have prospered under the advantages of civilization. Their helping hands make possible this dream of a South Sea Island people. Solid planning means more than medical aid. It means education. Educational facilities for Solomon Island youth are fast becoming inadequate for the demand. The buildings at the Betakama Adventist School, established in 1947, are sadly overtaxed. Dormitories are bursting and scores must be turned away. These bright young people come from different tribal groups throughout the Eastern Solomons. Theirs is a common heritage: devil worship, fear, desperate need. But Christian education is replacing superstition, banishing fear. It is bringing to them an intelligent approach to life, hope for the future. And with that hope in their hearts, the youth return to their familiar island villages. As native teachers and gospel workers, they travel into the remote villages, making lively war on ignorance. Flying the same watery highways, the medical launch continues its rounds. For the tropical beauty of these islands hides a constant need. The heat and humidity speed the incubation of disease. The sluggish rivers are many hidden villages, and travel is by dugout canoe. Even this unstable vessel is preferable to the mud and mosquitoes of the jungle trail. In this debilitating climate, the missionary must constantly watch his own health as he dispenses medical aid to these underprivileged people. Despite frequent shortages of funds, isolation, and supply difficulties, the battle continues. As bodies are healed and minds enlightened, villages become cleaner and more livable. The fear of evil spirits is replaced by happiness and the will to live. This is the new look in the South Seas.
Thanks for your company. I've certainly enjoyed the opportunity to share some more South Pacific classics with you. See you next time. I'm Alan Lindsay.